Hello, and welcome to my Learn Guitar with the Beatles series. This time, for the 7th song, we're doing Yellow Submarine, the one that has Ringo Starr singing on it. One thing that's worthy of note is the fact that they detune all of their guitars down a semitone. So this note of E would actually be sort of slightly slackened and down to the note of E flat. A becomes an A flat. D becomes a D flat, and so on throughout all the strings. I'm not going to bother doing that. It's just worth noting, if you wanted to play along with the original, you'd have to detune the strings or perhaps find some software that can adjust the pitch accordingly. But for now, I'm just going to go with a bog standard tuned acoustic guitar here. So we're going to go through the chords just to start with. If you like my videos here, then it'll be really good if you could hit like. It helps so much. You could always subscribe if you like what I'm doing, and then you'll be notified for further videos. And there's always the option of sharing if you have any of your friends who like the Beatles, or perhaps just don't like these videos and perhaps want to laugh. Who knows? Anyway, let's make a start. The chords we need for Yellow Submarine are going to be a chord of D. So hopefully we know D major by now. If not, it's going to be middle finger on fret 2 of string 1. We're then going to have our third finger on the second string at fret 3, and our first finger on the third string at fret 2. And we play from string 4 downwards. There's our chord of D. We need a chord of C, or C major. So that's going to be this one here. First finger on the second string at the first fret. We're then going to have our second finger on the fourth string at the second fret. And our third finger is going to be on the fifth string at the third fret. And we play from string 5 downwards. We have the chord of G. Now there's a few different ways you can do the chord of G, but I'm going to do it without my third finger. So little finger goes on fret 3 on the first string. We then jump over a bunch of strings. Our first finger goes on the second fret of the fifth string, and our middle finger, our second finger, goes on string 6 at fret 3. And that's all 6 strings. So far we've got a chord of D, a chord of C, and a chord of G. We also need an E minor chord, so that's going to be just with fingers 1 and 2, although you can do it with any fingers you choose, I suppose. It's going to be a fret 2 on both the 5th string and the 4th string. And that's going to be all 6 strings. We also need an A minor chord, which is going to be from string 5 downwards, and we have our first finger at the second string fret 1. We're then going to have our middle finger going to be at the 4th string at fret 2, and our third finger the 3rd string at fret 2, and like I said, from string 5 downwards. And then we can also throw in a cheeky chord of D7 as well. So that's this one here. We're going to have our first finger on the second string at fret 1. Our third finger is going to be on the first string at fret 2, and our second finger, our middle finger, is going to be on the third string at fret 2. And that's a bit like a normal chord of D. We're going to play from string 4 downwards. And that's called a D7. So the chords we have: D, a chord of C, a chord of G, a chord of E minor, a chord of A minor, and a chord of D7. So that's the chords that we need. Regarding the strumming, there's sort of 3 different strumming patterns that we use. One of them, which is for verse 1, verse 3, and the little instrumental part in the song, we're gonna just play one downward strum on the chord. So we might just do a D, a C, a G, an E minor, an A minor, and so on and so forth, just one downward strum. When we get into verse 2, we have this sort of swung sound, and what that's going to be is a down on a chord and then a lazy up on the chord. So if I was to pick just one chord, I'll go with the chord of D. We've got this. Something along those lines, and we're just going to play down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up with our right hand. depending on what the chords are. We might sometimes be on the chord of G, hitting all 6 strings, or like I said, on the chord of D, aiming for 4 strings. So that's a strumming pattern. That's going to be in verse 2 and also in verse 4. And then we finally have a strumming pattern for the chorus, which is just going to be down, 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 up. Okay, so down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Right then, so I think that's all the chords and the strumming done. We'll go on to video number 2 if you want to go through the chord sequence with me.